If you want to become a hammer-on hero or a pull-off pro, practice this. Hey there kids, it's your good buddy, Uncle Ben. If we want to rip it like the Legato lords of yore, like Allan Holdsworth, Joe Satriani, or Brett Gardsted, we gotta be practicing on our hammer-ons and pull-offs. That's why I designed this workout based around the lydian scale to get those hands in charge, in sync, and in the groove. It just takes a couple minutes to do, and I guarantee if you practice it on the daily, you're gonna be mashing rope like you've never mashed them before, or your money back. This video is brought to you guys by request from my lovely and loyal Patreon community over at patreon.com/Ben Eller Guitars. Just the other day I put up a poll asking everybody what they'd like to see next on my channel, and I got a whole bunch of requests for a great Legato workout, so this is the product of their wishes. This week, everybody who supports my channel, even for just $1 a month, is going to get access to a ton of goodies to go along with this video, like the guitar profiles and practice tracks that I made to help you build your own perfect practice session, and the downloadable tabs that go along with it. All my patrons are also going to be enjoying a very special ad-free and super extended cut of this video. I filmed a few too many of those guitar Illuminati secrets. I'm going to be in deep shit if I give that stuff away for free. So don't delay. Sign up today. Gear-wise for today's video, I'll be playing one of my favorite guitars in the world, my Ibanez RG3120 in beautiful twilight blue. Playing that through my Synergy rig today using the OS module, which sounds awesome. Yeah, let's hear your new favorite Legato workout at stepdad speed. So we're going to be starting this off on the A note on the high E string, but I recommend that you guys practice this in all different positions too. So take all these positions and maybe try starting from this A, maybe this A, that A, or maybe even this one. Just choose your A of choice and start right there. But we're going to be using the high E string for this example. This is all based around the A Lydian scale, which is the same thing as the E major scale, but starting on the A note and being played over this kind of A to B triad thing. Now this is all going to be using 3-note clusters, and the first one here is A, B, and C sharp. What we're going to do first is to do a pick stroke and hammer our way up that string 4 times in a row. This is all based on triplets. So the first pattern is just walking up only. The second pattern that we're going to do on every one of these clusters starts off on the middle note. You're going to go from the middle to the lowest, to the middle to the highest, and then pull your way down from there. That's a 6-note phrase. Mid, low, mid, high, mid, low. Play that through 2 times like that. After that, we're going to go to the pattern which just has this descending down the string from the high note, like this. That's just going straight down. Blinded by the light style, right? We're getting revved up like the proverbial douche in the night. After this, the last pattern we're going to play on every one of these clusters starts on the high note and connects it down here to the low note. So it really builds that coordination from side to side on your hands. We're going to go from high to low, middle, high, middle, low. It's another 6-note phrase that gets played twice. So we have ascending only, mixed up from the middle, descending only, and then the side to side one here starting on the high note. After that, on the practice track and guitar profile, there's going to be a 2-beat rest where you can let that hand kind of recuperate a little bit and evaluate if you are gripping too hard or maybe pushing too hard with the thumb on the back of the neck. So the first section is going to sound like this. The next section here is going to feel like the exact same thing, just moved up a whole step. We're going to be using B, C sharp, and D sharp notes here. Same sequencing as before. Walk up 4 times. Mix up from the middle. Descending only. And then the mixed up one from the high note. You'll notice on all these different patterns, I'm starting them off with a pick stroke. I think that's a great way to make sure the hands are really staying in sync with each other. After this, move up to C sharp, D sharp, and E. You can use fingers 1, 2, 3 for this, or fingers 1, 3, 4. I think it's probably best to practice with 1, 3, 4. Then we can switch to 1, 2, 3 later on in the pattern. So same deal, walk up 4 times. Start from the middle. Legato down. And then you have the last one that starts on the high note. Next we're going to move up to D sharp, E, and F sharp and play the same idea. After this, back to the big stretch for E, F sharp, and G sharp. Same patterns. Next we're on F sharp, G sharp, and A. This is where I would use fingers 1, 2, and 3. That's a handy pattern, especially when you're playing up high, so you might as well practice it up here. Then we're going to go up to G sharp, A, B. Same idea. After this, you're back where you started, only an octave higher, A, B, and C sharp. It gets tough when you're playing up that high. And that's the entire thing. So if we were to play it all together, we'd start off here from A. Now I want to show you guys a couple different ways that you can practice this, as well as some tips and tricks for getting your legato sounding super smooth. Now there's kind of two different main approaches to doing legato stuff, and I know somebody in the comments section has already corrected me about the difference between legato and hammer-ons versus pull-offs. Whatever guys, I was homeschooled, it's all the same to me. But it's not really the same. Check this out. There's what I think of as rock legato. Now rock legato is what we've heard players like Satriani, sometimes John Petrucci, and a lot of times Eddie Van Halen use. This is where it's kind of like a planted feel. This is what I call the grip it and rip it approach. It's really obvious to hear the sound whenever you're doing descending stuff. Check this out. This is kind of a planted legato feel, where if I was playing that descending line, I would start off with all three fingers already sitting down on the string, and then just kind of rip them as I go. This kind of leads to a little bit more aggressive sound that I personally like. I know some guys like Allan Holdsworth hated that sound. I remember him saying he hated the sound of that kind of meow that's at the front of the note. Whenever you do that aggressive pull-off like that, he hated that sound. I just think of it as being very inherent to the sound of electric guitar, so I kind of embrace it as part of the character of the instrument. So if you want to practice this stuff with the rock legato approach, just grip it and rip it. But be sure not to use too much tension. Whenever you're doing this rock style legato, it's easy to over fret and use too much pressure for everything. So try to get away with the absolute minimum whenever you're practicing this way. Now the alternate approach to that is the Allan Holdsworth or Tom Quayle kind of approach, which is more like all hammer-ons, you know? Sometimes we call the pull-offs descending hammer-ons, because what you're doing isn't necessarily like, you know, where I have the low note already held down and I'm fretting the high note and I'm ripping it off like that. It's more like you only have one finger down at a time, and then this note is kind of hammered down the nanosecond that this note lets off. This is more like jazz fusion-y style. Frederick from Meshuggah does this all the time too. Hear the difference? The reverse hammer-on thing sounds really smooth and articulate. Every note sounds the same. Whereas with the rock legato stuff, there's a real difference between the hammer-ons and the pull-offs. The hammer-ons sound smooth, and the pull-offs sound a little more aggressive. It's a little bit more consistent sounding. It's a little bit more keyboardy, shall we say. It's a really cool sound. So if you're wanting to practice that more Holdsworthy legato feel, try practicing this entire workout with that mindset instead of the rock legato idea. One thing you can do too that's really handy and kind of unorthodox is whenever you're practicing these exercises, especially at the lower tempos, kind of make little ghost movements with the picking hand as if it was in motion as well, like you're kind of used to if you're mainly a picking guy. It might look something like this. I've had students over the years that have completely transformed their time feel with their legato by doing exactly that. Keeping that right hand in motion, even though it's not even doing anything. There's something about that that keeps the entire body in rhythm. You kind of become your own metronome. The left hand still plays to the right hand, even if the right hand isn't touching the strings. You can kind of feel that full body synchronization happen whenever you do it that way, as opposed to just letting this guy drive the bus. So it's a little bit weird, but I guarantee it makes a huge difference. So give that one a shot. And now that you're armed with that bad Larry, you'll never skip Legato Day. Have fun with that one. Be sure to grab the guitar profile and practice tracks and the tab over on my Patreon page at patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. Huge shout out to my patrons for suggesting this lesson. You guys are the best, man. Anytime I don't know what to post, I can just always go on there and start a poll or just ask you guys a question, and you all give me so many good ideas. Like, there's years worth of material you guys have suggested, so thank you guys so much for putting this idea out there. Next video could be yours, so don't delay. Sign up today over at patreon.com/BenEllerGuitars. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell down there for notifications every time I upload a new slice of fried gold. Well, kids, it's been fun as always, but as for me, it's time to get out of here and go mash some rope. I recommend you guys do the same. Less clicking, more picking. Or not picking if it's, legato stuff. You know what I mean. Go play guitar.